Hi boys and girls, I have a story for you today. It's called No Jumping on the Bed by Ted Arnold. I wonder what's going to happen when this little boy keeps jumping on the bed. Make your prediction. No jumping on the bed. Oh, I can tell right away where this story takes place. Remember, that's called the setting of the story. Where do you think this story takes place? I think you're right. I think it's in the city. I see lots of tall buildings, and I see the little boy in the window. What do you think his dad is telling him right now, just by looking at the picture? Yeah, I think so too. No jumping on the bed. In his bedroom, near the top floor of a tall apartment building, Walter was getting ready for bed. Before turning out the light, his father said, "If I've told you once, I've told you 1,000,000 times, no jumping on the bed. One day, it'll crash right through the floor. Now lie down and go to sleep." "Just one more time," asked Walter. But instead, he plopped down on his pillow and squeezed his eyes closed. "Good night," said his father. He turned off the light and pulled the door almost closed. The room was dark and quiet, except for a soft thump, thump, thump coming from the room above. "That's Delbert upstairs," thought Walter. So remember, he's in an apartment building. That's why he can probably hear someone above him. If you live in a house, that's probably not something you would hear. So I wonder what Walter's thinking. What did he start doing? Oh no, what happened? He switched on his bedside light. If Delbert can jump on his bed, so can I. Walter bounced higher and higher. On his last jump, his hair brushed the ceiling. But when he came back down, his mattress creaked, the floor cracked, and the whole bed tipped sideways. Then down through the floor fell Walter, bed and all. So who did he land on? Now, it happened that Walter's bedroom was directly above Miss Hattie's dining room. She was more than a little surprised when a bed fell through her ceiling and Walter landed in a plate of spaghetti and meatballs. "I was not expecting company for dinner," she mumbled, with a mouthful of meatballs. Oh no, what's happening next? That's right, they're heading right on down. Said Walter. "Spaghetti is my all-time favorite." But before we could eat, his bed smashed through the table and kept right on crashing down through the floor. Now down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, the plate of spaghetti, bed, and all. Oh, there's someone watching TV. What do you predict will happen? Oh no. Miss Hattie in her dining room was above Mr. Matty's TV room. Mr. Matty didn't even notice a bed falling through his ceiling until a meatball bounced off his head. Miss Hattie tumbled into his lap, and Walter splashed into his aquarium. "Ah, I've already had my bath tonight," said Walter. He wanted to stay and watch the monsters on TV, but his bed crunched through the floor, taking the TV with it. Down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Walter's Aunt Batty had just moved into the building. She was still unpacking when Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, and a dripping wet Walter tumbled to the ceiling right through a box containing a rare Patagonian stamp collection. Oh, what a mess. I hear lots of rhyming words in this story too, boys and girls. Do you hear them? When he burst through the bottom of the box, Walter was a sticky mess. "Oh, I see you started collecting stamps," said Aunt Batty as she followed Walter through the new hole in her floor. Down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, Aunt Batty, the stamp collection, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Oh man, do you think they reached the bottom yet? Patty and Natty had worked 3 days building their dream house with blocks. Afraid that Fatty Cat might knock something over, they carefully shooed her out for the night. Then upstairs, neighbors came through the ceiling. Excuse us," said Walter, remembering his manners. "We won't be staying long." The words were barely past his lips when Walter's bed bashed through the floor and continued on its way. Down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, Aunt Batty, Patty, Natty, Fatty Cat, and the stamps, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. The last thing Mr. Hanratty ever expected to see was a bed coming through his studio ceiling, followed by nearly everyone in the building. Oh, his studio. So I wonder what he does for a living. "If I had known you wanted to see my paintings," he said, "I would have tidied up a bit." But they never once paused to admire Mr. Hanratty's colorful artwork. They were too busy splashing in his cans of paint. His floor caved in and everyone followed. Walter's bed down through the hole. Down and down fell Walter, Miss Hattie, Mr. Matty, Aunt Batty, Patty, Natty, Mr. Hanratty, Fatty Cat, 17 cans of paint, the stamps, the TV, the spaghetti, the bed, and all. Oh, where are they now? I wonder what he does. Maestro Ferengati and his string quartet were astonished by the colorful crowd that fell from the ceiling. The maestro loved an audience, even if they dropped in unannounced. But when Walter's bed smashed through the floor and paint splattered everywhere, the maestro wished his audience would leave. And so they did, along with, you guessed it, the string quartet. What happened now? Where's Walter? Maestro Ferengati practice room floor was also in the basement. It was dark and quiet as midnight down there. Walter squeezed his eyes closed and tumbled through the darkness while he landed on something soft. He opened his eyes. Everything was in its place. His bedroom lights were out. The door was almost closed. And through it, Walter could hear his mother and father talking quietly. "No more jumping on the bed for me," mumbled Walter as he lay back down to sleep. Suddenly, he heard a creak. The ceiling cracked and down fell Delbert. Bed and all, down and down fell Delbert. The end. So what do you think happened in the story, boys and girls? Make some predictions. tell a grown-up, tell your pet, tell your brother, your sister. It kind of reminds me too of a story that Mrs. D'Angelo read about the mouse and the cookie. Or did it really happen at all? I don't know. Could it have been a dream? Do you have strange dreams sometimes? I don't know, it could be. His dad kept telling him, no more